So to conclude land-based empires, we're going to take a look at a couple of different developments that are more within the Islamic world, looking at the spread of Islam as well as different conflicts that occurred between the various empires, as well as a prime example of religious syncretism, where you have different ideas, different faiths coming together to form something new. Now to recap, when it comes to the spread of Islam, there's three main ways that it happens, and we can see two of them here. Sufism is a sect of Islam wherein experiences, and specifically mystical experiences, take precedence over formal practices and creeds, because the worldly successes that it endorses are kind of seen as a distraction. Now the Sufis would meditate on the words of the Quran, and they use dancing and chants, and try to pursue an interior life in an attempt to achieve spiritual union with Allah. This focus on the divine, rather than on the written law of Islam, allowed Islam to merge with local beliefs and really encouraged the growth of a blended type of Islam. Now, wandering Sufis would find those who were qualified to teach about the faith, and then they would find fellow devotees who spread that said faith. Sufism was definitely central to the spread of Islam in West Africa, in Southeast Asia, and South Asia, all areas where we've looked at how Islam contributed to different empires. And often, merchants would initiate the spread of Islam along established trade routes. So the Sufis would follow in their wake to really solidify the process. So we have merchants and trade, and we've got Sufism. We also have conquest. Now you can see the three main gunpowder empires here. The Mughal Empire in India was ruled over by Muslims who claimed to descend from Genghis Khan. And it's from Mongol that we get the word Mughal. And they forcibly conquered the region, yet Muslims only represented 20% of the empire, while the majority practiced some form of Hinduism. Many rulers, notably Akbar, moved to accommodate the majority of the population and instituted changes to accommodate this. He supported the construction of Hindu temples, and he even removed the jizya. He removed the special tax on non-Muslims, and he practiced toleration to foster a greater Indian, Persian, Turkic identity. Some Mughal rulers sought to restore Islamic superiority, so this empire, began with the conquest of the region and the interaction between two major faiths. It begins with the interaction of Hinduism and Islam, and it ends with animosity between the two. Now, the Ottoman Empire, technically the one that lasts the longest. The Ottoman Empire, as we recall, began with conquest, since the Ottomans swept through the Middle East, North Africa, and Southeast Europe. The Ottoman Empire conquered Constantinople, so there were large numbers of Christians within the empire. By and large, the Ottomans were mostly tolerant towards other religions, including Christians, within their borders. On the whole, the empire was viewed as a threat to Christendom because it abutted against the Christian West. So we have the Mughals, the Ottomans, and then the Safavids. And they began by conquering rivals in what is now Iran to establish an empire ruled by a Shia elite. And again, Safavid are Shia, Ottomans are Sunni. And this will certainly lead to religious conflict, because during this time frame, the intensification of this divide will increase. Now, conflict would erupt between the Ottomans and the Safavids for about 1 century. We're talking, in this case, 1534 to 1639, because they coveted similar territory, and they had sharp religious differences. Remember that this divide began with Muhammad's death. And, who's going to lead the faith? The Sunnis, so in this case the Ottomans, believe that the caliphs are the political and military leaders. And these leaders are selected by the Islamic community. Whereas the Shia believe that the descendants of Ali should rule because it's all about blood relation to Muhammad. They're the ones who emphasize the imams, who have the religious charisma that allows them to interpret revelation and law. Now the Shia are the minority faction in this case. And the divide truly will intensify. Now this particular battle, Calderon, fought in 1514, as the Safavids are going to try and push west. The Ottomans have more men, and they have artillery and gunpowder weapons. All right, the Ottomans are looking at, they have 60 to 100,000 men in their forces. Safavids have 40 to 60,000, but no artillery whatsoever. Now the Safavids try to attack with cavalry. Remember that when we looked at the Ottomans, they were known for their cavalry. Islamic forces are well known for their cavalry charges. That's not going to work against gunpowder weapons. Ismail, the founder of the Safavids, was so embarrassed by this loss that he withdrew from public life. It kicked off 41 years of solid warfare, and there's going to be intermittent skirmishes until the final victory by the Ottomans in 1639. And this is just going to further the divide between Sunni and Shia, which continues to this day. So we have religious conflict that occurs within this region and between empires. Now we look at how, at least within one empire, the Mughal Empire, two major faiths will fuse together to form a new syncretic religion known as Sikhism. And again, Sikhism forms in India during the Mughal Empire and is founded by a man named Guru Nanak. And Guru Nanak declared, there is no Hindu and no Muslim. All are children of God. Sikhs are monotheistic, and they do believe in one universal God. That's the Islamic influence. However, Sikhs also believe in the concept of karma and reincarnation, so that would be where the Hindu beliefs come into play. They believe in the general equality of all men. And so this is similar to the idea that all have the chance to receive salvation, much like in Islam. Now the 5 Ks of Sikhism can be seen here. Kirpan, the dagger. Kanga, hair comb. Kara, iron bracelet. The kachera, uniform shorts. And then the kesh and keshki, uncut hair and a small turban. So the different Ks, they symbolize one's commitment to the Sikh way of life. Now, interestingly enough, you have the dagger and you have uniform shorts. The undergarment was symbolic of the ability to defend oneself at moment's notice. So defense is something that was embedded into the Sikh faith. Now today, about 25 million people follow the faith, and most of them are concentrated in the Punjab region of India. However, in North America, about 1.5% of Canada's population practices Sikhism, and they help pave the way for more Sikhs in the United States. So many American Sikhs entered through different, Canadian passages, so to speak. That was their ticket to the United States. Eventually, there were 4 Sikhs that did serve in the cabinet of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. So within the greater realm of the Islamic Gunpowder Empires, we see how the religion did continue to spread. We see conflict between them, but we see a new faith, Syncretism, that forms when one person decided to fuse the Muslim faith with the majority Hindu belief.